Not every emotion wears its true name. Some feelings arrive disguised as love when they're merely passing shadows. The university hallway hums with life. Students rushing between classes. Bushra leans against the wall near the physics lab, her notes clutched tightly against her chest. Her gaze falls on a tall figure walking toward her, Bilal, a classmate she's only noticed from afar. Their eyes meet briefly before she looks away, her heart unexpectedly quickening its pace.
"Excuse me,"
he says, stopping beside her.
"You're Bushra, right? From Professor Mahmoud's physics class?"
She nods, surprised he knows her name.
Yes.
"Your presentation last week was really impressive. The way you explained quantum entanglement made it actually understandable."
His smile is warm, confident.
Thank you.
She replies, adjusting her hijab with slightly trembling fingers. At 19, these unexpected interactions with young men are foreign territory.
"I'm Bilal, by the way."
He extends his hand, then awkwardly withdraws it, respecting her boundaries.
"Sorry. Anyway, I was wondering if you might want to grab coffee sometime to discuss the upcoming project. I could use some insights."
The invitation catches her off guard. Her phone suddenly buzzes in her pocket, a convenient distraction as she gathers her thoughts.
I'll think about it.
"Of course, no pressure. Here's my number."
He scribbles it on a corner page of his notebook, tears it off, and offers it to her.
"Text me if you're interested. Maybe we could just study together sometime."
She accepts the paper with a polite nod, watching as he continues down the hallway. Bushra's fingers grip the small note, her thoughts a whirlwind of confusion. In a world that rushes toward intimacy, how does one maintain sacred distance? For the next 3 days, his number remains uncontacted, yet his presence has taken residence in her mind. She finds herself captured by the memory of his smile, his questions, his laughter, by the way his eyes crinkled with joy.
Bushra, are you okay?
She looks up to see Nadia standing there, her cousin's eyes filled with knowing concern. At 25, married for 2 years to Tariq, Nadia walks a path Bushra has yet to tread.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bushra whispers.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Nadia replies, sitting down.
You look troubled.
In a hesitant moment of vulnerability, Bushra pulls the small paper from her notebook and pushes it toward her cousin. Nadia reads the note, her eyes gentle.
You like him? I think I might be falling in love with him.
Bushra confesses, her voice barely audible.
Is that wrong? I can't stop thinking about him since we spoke the other day.
Nadia smiles with compassionate understanding.
Let's take a walk.
As they strolled through the campus garden, the spring air filled with the scent of jasmine, Nadia spoke carefully.
What you're feeling isn't unusual, Bushra, but it's probably not love.
Then what is it?
Bushra asked, confused. The intensity of her feelings certainly felt like love. At least, what she imagined love to be.
Let me tell you a story my grandmother told me before my marriage. It helped me understand the difference between infatuation and real love. In a village near Dimashq lived Amina, a beloved madrasa teacher known for her tender heart and melodious Qur'an recitation. Though many sought her hand in marriage, she quietly declined them all. None felt like the right match. One day, a new imam came to the village masjid. His name was Yusuf, and he was young, eloquent, and had studied at Al-Azhar University in Egypt. The first time Amina heard him speak during Friday prayers, she was captivated by his knowledge and the passion with which he discussed the teachings of Islam. Over the following weeks, Amina found herself thinking about Imam Yusuf constantly. She would walk past the masjid, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. Her heart would race whenever she saw him in the village market or heard his voice leading the prayers.
I think I'm in love with him.
Fatima, who had been married for 5 years, smiled knowingly. Are you sure it's love, or is it just ta'alluq? If what you feel is ta'alluq, it will fade quickly when tested. If it's love, it will only grow stronger through challenges. Amina wasn't convinced. Her feelings were so strong. How could they not be love? A few days later, an announcement shook the village. Imam Yusuf was engaged to be married to a woman from his hometown. Amina was devastated. For days, she could hardly eat or sleep. She avoided going near the masjid or any place she might encounter Yusuf. Seeing her daughter's distress, Amina's mother sat her down one evening. "My dear daughter, what you're experiencing isn't love, it's attachment. Real love isn't about possession or how someone makes you feel. It's about wanting what's best for them, even if that doesn't include you." "But how do I know if what I feel is real love or just attachment?" Amina asked through tears. "Ask yourself this," her mother said gently. "Are you sad because Yusuf has found happiness with someone else, or are you sad because that someone isn't you? If it's the latter, then it's about your desires, not his well-being." Amina reflected on these words over the following weeks. Gradually, she came to understand that her mother was right. She had been attached to an idealized image of Yusuf and the way he made her feel, not to Yusuf himself. When Yusuf's wedding day came, Amina surprised herself by feeling genuine happiness for him. She prayed that Allah would bless his marriage with harmony and joy.
Bushra listened intently as Nadia finished the story. Bushra thought about this.
So what I'm feeling for Bilal?
It might just be ta'alluq.
Nadia said.
You barely know him. What you're attached to is the idea of him or how he makes you feel.
But what should I do? Ignore him? That seems rude.
It's your choice. But if you want to get to know him, do it in a halal way. But understand the difference between curiosity and infatuation. If you want to study with him, do it in a public place. Keep it professional. Don't feed the attachment by daydreaming about him or reading too much into every interaction.
And what if I still have feelings for him after getting to know him properly?
Then you talk to your parents. If there's potential there, they can help you explore it in a way that honors both your dignity and Islamic principles.
Nadia squeezed her hand.
Remember, Allah designed these emotions but also gave us guidance on how to channel them appropriately.
They walked in silence for a few minutes before Nadia spoke again.
You know what my husband Tariq told me after we'd been married for a year? He said that before we met, he had been interested in someone else. He thought it was love at the time, but looking back, he realized it was just an attachment to the idea of her. Real love, he said, came gradually as we built our life together, seeing each other at our best and worst, supporting each other through difficulties.
Bushra nodded thoughtfully.
I think I understand. What feels like love right now might just be excitement over something new.
Exactly.
Nadia smiled.
The heart is fickle, especially when we're young. That's why Islam provides us with a framework for finding love, one that protects our hearts while still honoring our emotions.
As they returned to the library, Bushra felt a sense of clarity she hadn't experienced in days. She picked up her phone and composed a message to Bilal.
Thank you for the invitation. I would be comfortable studying in the library if you'd like to join our study group on Thursdays. Several of us meet after physics class.
She showed the message to Nadia, who said,
Perfect. Professional, respectful, and creates appropriate boundaries.
Bushra sent the message and put her phone away, feeling the weight lifting from her shoulders. Whether anything would develop with Bilal or not, she now had a framework to understand her emotions without being controlled by them. As she gathered her physics notes, Bushra made a mental note to thank her cousin later. Sometimes the most valuable lessons weren't found in textbooks, but in the wisdom passed down through generations.
Ta'alluq burns bright and fades quickly. Love grows slowly, steadily, and lasts a lifetime.
It was a lesson she would carry with her, guiding her heart through the journey ahead.